A peace and blessings to you. My name is Jere B. I am the EntreMusician, and so are you. And so is this wonderful gentleman who's sitting on the other side of the screen right now. His name is Andrei Poliakov, and let me tell you, if you haven't heard from him or about him or know him, I'm going to do my best to make sure that this man becomes a household word. He is intriguing. His music is imaginative, it's innovative. It starts with classical, but then it takes you on journeys, and you're going to love today's conversation with Andrei. But before we do that, you know we got to do this because all of our videos, everything we do here at the EntreMusician is sponsored by the wonderful people at Vocal. Vocal is the only beverage on the planet which is designed to soothe, refresh, and restore your voice. If you talk all day like I do, or you sing all night like Andrei does, then you got to get yourself some Vocal. You want to go to drinkvocal.com to learn more. Man, I tell you what, it's
Very
my
good.
pleasure. Welcome, brother. How are you?
Thanks a lot, Jere B. Really nice to see you and really nice to meet you. I'm really excited about this. I'm not too bad. In fact, I'm sitting in sunny. Yesterday was sunny Switzerland.
Yes.
Today it's more rainy, but the weather is changing, but our mood probably is not changing. You know, it's always good, you know?
Yes.
So
well, we had the
yeah.
rain yesterday here in
I
the
see.
United States, and we got the sun today, so we kind of swapped.
Oh, swapped in a way. Yeah, I see. Very good. And how are you?
I'm doing fantastic. And you may know, and those of you watching may know, that my background has changed a little bit. I'm actually recording from home today, where I'm usually at the studio. But it's okay. I did not want to postpone. I wanted to make sure that we had this conversation today.
And thank you so much, Jere B. And I'm actually at my home as well, here in Switzerland. And this is my home studio, let's call it that way. So this is where I record and invent things,
Yes.
I guess.
I love the clarinet that you have on the back of the wall.
These are actually two of my passions. One is classical music, just here. This is a tree, like a, you know, how did it start? Basically with Beethoven and Mozart and all, and then you work it all the way up to the modern composers. And this one, you probably can recognize. These are the Fab Four.
Yeah.
And that's my second passion. Yeah. So these two guys, I don't know, it's not guys, these two branches of music is what inspires me.
Well, that's amazing because, you know, when you listen to your music and you have 3 incredible CDs, you have 2 songs that are coming out on July 4th?
14th, very soon. Yeah.
Beautiful, incredible music. I want to say it starts in classical, but how would you rectify it? Because your website has a pretty great description of it. How would you describe your music?
I'm trying to describe it. It's actually very hard to describe music.
You're right.
I think it's hard, and it's very hard to describe a style. And I think, again, practically speaking, you kind of hit a wall when you're trying to market a music, because you need to market it in a genre, in a style, and you need to find your audience. You know what I mean? You probably know exactly what I mean. And especially EntreMusicians, and you know, those who are doing it themselves, that's a bit of a difficulty.
You're right.
Anyways, I think I treat the style or a style of music as yet another color that I'm trying to use to convey emotions or convey a different angle of the story or a different angle of view, point of view to the same story or to the same melody or same emotion. And my background, and probably we'll speak about that during a bit later into the interview, my background is in classical music. So that's my fundamental education in St. Petersburg, which I received, and where I built my career basically back 20 years ago. But then I feel a lot of passion about jazz, about rock, and even about rap sometimes, and trap and all this. You know, it's all the styles of music are very good. All the
Yes.
styles of music are appropriate when they actually help you tell a story.
Yes.
And I think this is where I'm trying to express myself, and how I'm trying to express myself via different, of course, melodies and arrangements and solo piano versus non-solo piano. And that's clear. But then adding and throwing in some sort of a mismatch
Yes.
a little bit,
Yes.
or the crossovers of different styles, it actually helps advance and maybe compress a longer story into a shorter story, which you kind of need to do today, you know. So
Well,
that's maybe the essence. Sorry.
no, you're fine. Well, let me ask this. So then when you're composing, do you find that these different elements are kind of drifting in as you're composing, or do you set out to go, it's going to have a little bit of house music, it's going to have some hip hop? You know, how do you approach it? It just comes?
Never like that. No, never. I cannot. I tried hard several times, and every time I'm trying to do that, there's something, I don't know, bollocks. Basically, nothing good is coming out. It's no. I go with the flow basically, and I never say that I compose music or I write music or anything. It's just something that just comes out.
That's
I
interesting.
don't know. It's you know. I'm just, every time my starting point is a piano all the time, probably because that's pretty much the only instrument that I play more or less well.
Wow.
And it's just handy. It's comfortable for me to sit at the piano and come up with a melody or a harmony or an interesting hook, whatever. And then I start developing it in the computer, and then I go to the sound producer, and then we do something together about the sounds. But yeah, it develops itself, I'd say, and it writes itself, the music. It doesn't really, I don't have an idea where it's coming from. Honestly, it's not me. I guess.
Yes, I agree.
Sometimes.
Music is spirit, and God has graced us where He just allows it to be downloaded into these bodies, and we just express what He gives
Exactly.
us. You know.
Yeah. It is something that the atmosphere, the air around us has. So it just sips in or infiltrates our bodies and minds or emotions, heart, I don't know, soul, whatever. And then it comes out. If you're lucky, then you allow it to come out with your hands or your whatever, pen or computer keyboard, doesn't really
Yes.
matter.
Absolutely.
It's just like that, I guess.
Now,
So yeah.
so it's kind of juxtaposed, because when you talk to serious classical composers,
Yeah.
they will tell you, I write, I compose, but you're just saying, I just flow with the music.
Yes. At the same time, maybe a bit of a background. I'm a son of of parents musicians. So both of my parents are pianists, and my granddad is an accordionist, basically. So I've got a history in the family, right?
Yeah.
In all the senses that it conveys. So I didn't have a choice pretty much when I was young, and I became a pianist at some point of time, and then I changed to the oboe. So, and I know these kind of techniques and theory, I mean, of course, the music theory and how it should be, and the all the harmony and the solfege and all this, and I think all these knowledge and skills, they kind of help me to finish a piece. So I'm writing, and then I'm composing, and then something is coming out of the fingers, and then just to glue it together, to make sense of it, to take for it to take a shape or form. Then I start applying my skills that I acquired back in the childhood, I guess. So without it,
how old were you when you began?
I started. I think I started at 3 or 2, so very young, because I had basically my mother was, a very excited musician, and she was, and she is a teacher, or a child teacher of the little kids in the school of piano. So she kind of gave me a hand with it. She helped me developed the absolute hearing, in fact. And that's how it started, kind of at 2 years old. And then by the age of 5, I started playing piano, like all the small kids who have these ambitions and all this kind of stuff. And then I entered a musical school in St. Petersburg, which is kind of, we only had like 5 or 7 for the whole Soviet Union. It was back then, it was Soviet Union still. It was 30 years ago. Yeah. 1986. So yeah, it was the big red beast back then. And yeah, we only had like 7 or 10, I guess, maybe schools like that, where you spend like 11 years learning music and other stuff as well. So physics, maths, and everything basically in one place. But you're getting, so your schedule at school looks like you get, I don't know, 2 geographies, 2 solfege, then 1 harmony, then 1 music theory, and then in the end the math. So that's how your schedule is put together in the at the school. So you're receiving really deep knowledge of the theory, of practice as well. You play many concerts a year. I started touring when I was maybe 10, going abroad for concerts with other kids, of course, small things, but still, you get the experience. And then I think all this kind of accumulated by now. I was writing all the time, like songs and stuff, and I was playing in the rock bands with fellas, basically nothing serious.
Playing Fab Four stuff?
Of course. Let It Be, of course, all the time. Like every time we played, it was Let It Be. It was Imagine all the time, and you know, all these fancy and very nice songs from the 60s. And then I started working in the orchestra. I switched to the oboe. So I learned the oboe when I was maybe 15 or 16. And then I started playing in the orchestras. First one was Mariinsky Theater, where I worked for a while. And then I moved to the Philharmonica of St. Petersburg. And that's where I worked for a few years. We toured the world. It's a pretty famous orchestra with a good repertoire and a lot of tours. And I think actually my last tour was in the States in 2002, just half year after the 9/11, by the way. Yeah, just right. Yeah, we hit that date like right half a year after.
You were in New York? Did you come to New York?
As well, yes. Yeah, we covered the whole thing, and I think we even dropped to Canada. Yes, New York, of course, we saw the flowers and the memorial and everything. Yeah, it was super painful. In fact, all the memories, and you still saw the debris, and I don't know, everything. They reminded you of that tragedy.
Sure.
And of course, and then on top of everything, new regulations in the planes and in the airports, of course, came into force right there.
Now, how old were you? How old were you, may I ask?
I was
during that time?
23. 23.
Uh-huh.
23. And then I graduated from the conservatory. I kind of was a bit disappointed with how it was going with the orchestra, because it was more of a profession rather than creativity or creative profession, if you know what I mean. So it was a little bit like making chairs all the time, like a conveyor belt. It's the same thing. So I got disappointed. I thought, okay, I'll go learn marketing and finance. So I learned marketing and finance and economy. And then I started building career in a totally different industry with sales and marketing, basically. I started working as a merchandiser, a sales rep, and all this. And step by step, I found myself in Switzerland with that job. all of a sudden, not really expecting that.
Right.
And during all these years, I kept writing different stuff, you know, just for myself, for friends, for family, and I kept playing as well in the rock bands, and especially at work as well. We had a corporate thing that, and it exists still. The group that we played in, that I started, which I'm very proud of. And then I kept on. I think my first kind of a breakthrough, personal breakthrough, in terms of quality of what I was doing, in terms of composition and everything, was the first breakthrough was when I bought Logic Pro. So that, wow, man, that's I still love it. To be really honest with you, it's a great stuff, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's pretty cheap. So I bought Logic. I started getting a hang of it. Basically, started recording some songs in Russian mostly, and then all of a sudden I bought a sound card. You know, the one that has 5-pin MIDI MIDI. I didn't have that. I hadn't had that one, so I couldn't really record a piano or anything. And then I saw, okay, and it was like 3 years ago or something. And then I hooked piano, the electrical piano, the chord that I have, and then I started playing. Oh, wow, that's a good way to record music. As well. I just realized. Yeah. And then since then, I kind of changed the angle of what I was doing in terms of the music and the form of the music, because I was focusing more on songs, and that's what I kind of liked, because I wrote the lyrics as well, and it was pretty okay, let's say. I mean, nothing big, but it was cool. And then I realized, okay, there's yet another industry, a totally different angle of looking at the music.
Sure.
You know, and then and then I recorded basically the album Reflections, the one that you referred to before. Yeah. Yes. Oh man, thanks.
Man, well, Puppet World, I was saying before we got started, is I don't know how to describe it. Like you say, you kind of hit a wall when you try to put a label on what you're doing. Yeah. But it is a journey, and I think the best thing about music and the best thing about listening to a piece of music is when you can lose yourself inside of what's going on. So suddenly, and I was in my car, but suddenly I wasn't in the city that I'm driving in. Suddenly I was somewhere else. I was transformed. Wow. And I mean that wholeheartedly. Listen, my nose is brown enough. I don't have to say anything I don't mean. You know what I mean? And it was just beautiful, beautiful. And then as I'm going through the different tracks, and you're mixing a little hip hop, and you're mixing a little party zone in it. I mean, it's just like, what's going on here? You know, brilliant. A brilliant way of just flowing through an original idea. And so you really mastered it. Whatever you're going to call it at the end of this, you own it. You absolutely own it.
Actually, you know, when I started, and then continuing a little bit. So I recorded that album, and I recorded something else, and then I came up with the 4 Seasons, basically the latest album, and now I'm releasing something else. And for this something else, which is called Moonlight and Sunshine, basically the album, which we'll probably talk about as well a bit later. Sure. But I started kind of thinking, what do I do to put it out there? What do I do to make sure that somebody else except my friends and family hears it? You know, because I don't have tours. I have a job. You know, like many musicians, it's somebody has to pay the bills, and the money is scarce in music, and I do realize it. I very well, actually, having played in the orchestras and because I know so many musicians, all my basically friends are musicians. Sure. The money is very scarce. The chance for success, for a big success, is very slim. Let's be honest. I mean, it does exist, but you need to hit a jackpot basically, and you cannot rely on that. So you keep on doing your job, which I like, by the way, at the same time. So no issues with that one. And but then still you somehow not truly satisfied with your life when you're doing something, and this sits in the drawer of your desk. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah. I do.
Yes. And then I started learning different courses and going to like Facebook ads, and John Gold, probably you know the guy, or you know there's lots of them selling the courses. Pretty good advices, by the way, and you know in terms of. But I think one of the best learnings that I've had from these courses, education, whatever you call it, is more like about the confidence in yourself. So because I realized there's so many artists like myself, basically, there's so many people that experience exactly the same emotions and struggle in the same way.
That's right.
That it actually encourages you, that there's a community behind you, and you kind of come together, and then you find this whatever Facebook groups or blogs or where people discuss and really help each other. And this has been the biggest revelation for me in the last, I don't know, 3-4 months. Literally, while I was going through all these, like, oh yeah, there's actually a pianist, a guy who is aspiring to do more or less the same that I'm doing. And so why don't we talk to each other? Why don't we share ideas? Why don't we share good tricks to get noticed? I don't know, to break the Spotify algorithm, whatever.
That's absolutely right. And that's the reason why, the EntreMusician was created. It was really created to curate a community of like-minded musicians, artists, bands who realized that it wasn't just about music. It starts there, but in the way to properly use the technology to market yourself and to have these type of conversations, from the United States to Sweden to wherever, to say, okay, how do we do this? Because we're all kind of trying to make the same sandwich. As you said, it's very slim for anybody to hit the jackpot and be the next whatever, but we're all can move our passion forward to a place where it's going to create win-win situations for everybody. So you're absolutely right.
Exactly. And then on top of that, of course, I discovered so many great artists and the great musicians, and of which, to my shame, honestly, I had no idea before I started doing this.
That's how I feel right now today. That's how I feel right now.
Why is that?
Before you sent the email, which was, what was that, 5 days ago? You might have sent the email.
Like Thursday, I guess. Thursday, yeah.
Boom. All I do is click on the music. I fall in love. Hey, let's have a conversation, right?
Yeah, exactly. No, but that's how you discover stuff, I guess, right? But it's hard to market yourself, isn't it? I mean, you go through all, I don't know, through the array of different emotions, and many of these emotions are not really pleasant, aren't they?
That's correct.
Yeah.
That's correct. But, I think that you have to constantly redefine success. Okay, because if you're not going to win 11 Grammys, United States, if that's the pinnacle, what can you do to really say, okay, well, I've moved the needle forward? So you take a song like yours, like Autumn. Okay, not everybody's going to be into that form, that long form, but again, for those who appreciate you, it's about your family, your tribe, your fans who really, you've organically grown them because the music is so pure. You just wait. I mean, it's just going to be a groundswell. It may not be the 11 Grammys that you want, maybe or maybe not. You will receive that.
Yeah, you never know, of course. Yeah.
But you, my friend, are well on your way. Let me tell you, you have some incredible music.
Thanks, man. No, I really appreciate your very kind words about that, and thank you so much. And yes, I don't know what to say to that. But
don't stop. That's what to say. Don't quit.
I've got more ideas than I have time. So.
So tell me. So now, how does we talked about the fact that you don't formally compose, okay? But if you're putting together an album project. What are you imagining is happening? Like, what is your goal when you set out to say, hey, I'm really feeling this? What's happening in your head? Is it experiences that you're going through personally, or what's happening?
I think there's several angles of this. One, yes, definitely there are personal experiences that you're trying to express with music, because otherwise it's not relevant. You cannot relate to that. I mean, it has to be that. Whether it's like 50% of all the emotions or the thing that I'm putting into the music, is it 50% or a little less than that? That's about that number. So maybe 40% of my emotions, my personal thoughts and my personal issues, I guess, or challenges, or memories, rather. That is like 50%, and the other 50% is just honestly coming out. I really don't know. I have to be honest with you. I don't want to invent things. It's just there. So I sit at piano, and on a lucky day, I just hit the keys in the right direction, I guess, and in the right sequence, and then it all glues together. And then it takes maybe several days to complete, or it can take a couple of months to complete, like for all of us. You're probably you know what I'm saying.
Sure.
And about the albums, it's a bit different story, in fact. And with all the albums that it's only 2 albums. I mean, it's proper albums. One is Reflections, another one is 4 Seasons, and the third one is a bit different. That's good. That's going to come out right now. So with Reflections, I had an idea just to record whatever piano pieces that I could, and that was the first experiment of me for me to put it out and to actually record something on piano. I was super humble. I was super scared about that, because I stopped properly playing piano when I was maybe 18, like properly. You know what I mean, like a concert, classics, and everything. Because it's a hard work. You have to practice 10 hours a day, and ever since. All that I was doing is just improvising, coming in and out and just playing for friends and all this kind of stuff, not serious. And then it was super hard and super humbling experience, in fact, to actually record and show it to someone. That, guys, I'm playing piano. Is it not too bad?
Right.
You know what I mean? Because you cannot really evaluate yourself, especially with the music that you just invented, composed, that with the music that just came out, and you don't really know it's good or bad. Am I playing like an amateur? And I have my demand and my what I heard and what I know from my childhood and from all my friends who are pianists and still touring the world and everything. When I hear them, oh my goodness, I would never ever show any of my records to any of them, and especially back in that time. No, seriously, because I can evaluate my skills on piano. I know.
You're your own worst critic.
Of course, yeah. No, but I can be objective as well. Unfortunately, I'm being objective here. But in any case, so that was just an idea of having a number of piano pieces with a little bit of arrangement. I think I was inspired by one guy. He actually is a student of my father, Gleb Kolyadin. I don't know if you know him, but he's probably pretty famous, I think. Maybe not in the States, but in the UK for sure. From the prog rock, and he's also a pianist, playing prog rock, and he's got a band. And then I heard some of his compositions, and I really got inspired, and I thought, okay, I probably could try and do something in the same style or genre. And that's how I started thinking about, okay, piano and bass, and then maybe drums, and maybe some of the house music, and this kind of stuff. So that was the idea, for a very small idea, let's be honest as well, for Reflections. So that was just a set of pieces, with musical pieces. And then as it started to develop, and as I started to get hang of the style and the arrangements, for example, I don't know, the length of the piece, you need to kind of understand what it is before you go about an album. And then I thought, okay, it's just Reflections, because I was thinking of that, like literally thinking. I was thinking of a puppet world. I was thinking of a war. I was thinking of these were the pictures, like the pictures in the exhibition of Mussorgsky, and that's how I kind of approached that project. And then the 4 Seasons was a completely different story. I wanted to write 4 seasons, and actually I was thinking, should it be like 12 months for Reflections? in the beginning when I was writing it, or when I was arranging and everything. But then it wasn't enough. It was only 10. So and I needed 12, and I didn't have time. So I thought, okay, I'll do reflections. And then I thought, okay, 4 seasons. So and it's pretty daring experiment as well, and a daring journey after all this history of 4 seasons being put out there, by the big guys, the real guys. Vivaldi starts with Vivaldi or whoever else.
But just to put a thumbtack there with 4 seasons with that album, that is something that pretty much flows. One song flows into the next. I mean, it's almost this aesthetic experience. Was that on purpose, or is that just organic? That's just the way it happened.
It's organic. I made it on purpose. Of course, I made the hooks, the same hooks in different parts, in different pieces. Of course, I did it on purpose.
Yeah.
Yes. So that there's a liaison between them. There's a connection. And again, in the spirit of probably more classical works like symphonies, and you have this kind of hints, basically. It's not like really literally reprise or exposition or whatever, like in a classical form, but it's more like a hint. Yeah, this was happening in the spring actually, and this is actually happening in the summer as well. So yeah, in terms of storytelling, I wanted to implant those, but the pieces are not written in the order that they are in the album, of course. So I started with autumn, I think, and then I continued with winter, and then I came up with summer, and then I finished with the spring, and then funny, and then I wrote the final piece, which is Reminiscences. And then I sent it to the sound producer, and we agreed. Okay, he said, "Yeah, okay, I'm doing all this stuff, so we are all set." And then just before sending the final files, I woke up at night and I said, "Shit, I've got this piece sitting in my drawer. The what you call it? The Indian Summer, which is super short."
Yeah.
Very, very nice, sort of Nina Rota kind of direction in terms of style. And I thought, no, that would be an Indian Summer, and then that's exactly what you need.
Yeah.
But then, alas, it doesn't appear in the Reminiscences because it was written after the final piece. Anyways, so that was intentionally a kind of holistic thing that I came up with. And I really wanted it to be a descriptive story about our lives. And when I was composing, I think it's more personal than reflections. By the way, in terms of like what did I put into that?
Yeah.
It's more personal. And I was thinking like you've got winter, and that's when you get born. And that's the childhood, and you're playing with the Santa Claus, and you have all this New Year gifts and Christmas decorations and a new tree and all this. So, and the snow, and you play the snowball. So, depending on the part of the world you live in,
right?
Sometimes you play with the sand, or I don't know, whatever you have, you play. And then the spring is when you're like a teenager. Basically, you're getting wiser, I guess, a bit smarter, not fully smart yet, but you're trying all different kinds of things, and you're sad because there's a first love that you just lost, for example, and then all of a sudden it's a party. In the end of that piece, it's a party. It's in the village. It's fun. It's great. You're young. You've got everything you need, and you can do whatever you want as well. And the whole life is in front of you. And then summer is when you actually hit the real stuff.
That's
party, yeah. And you drink, and you go out, and you have friends, and you get married, and kids, and all this. And then the autumn comes. Yeah.
Understood.
Yeah,
that's beautiful.
And then the autumn is pretty sad piece, I guess. because you because you because you're thinking about what happened before and about what did you achieve in life, I guess, by the autumn of your life, and you're either happy or you're not happy, and you keep thinking, what can you do, or what else can you do actually in the small time frame, probably small time frame that you have before you pass.
True.
So and that's why that piece is pretty long as well, and it's pretty thoughtful. It's these kind of emotions and these kinds of regrets, maybe sometimes, or maybe not regrets.
Maybe more reflections than regrets.
Reflections. Yeah,
that takes you back to
yeah.
your first album.
again, yeah. And then in the end, of course, you're remembering after the autumn when you get really old and you're sitting in the, I don't know, the rocking chair and in front of the fireplace, and you're remembering the good stuff that happened. So that's a completely different concept, I guess, a completely different thought that I put into it. So yeah.
So tell me about the new
please.
album that's coming, though. The because you got the 4 seasons and you're writing off of that, and then you have this particularly different piece of music. It's enough to know who you are, but then you're jumping off like a springboard elsewhere. Tell us about that.
Yeah. So there's a couple of stories about this, in fact. One is that because of COVID and because of coronavirus and everything, everybody got locked down, and myself included, and we started working from home. So I started saving time on travel and not being in the office versus being home. Being at home is more efficient. I mean,
Right.
by all means, like it very much, by the way. And what I started doing, it was just after I released the 4 seasons, like the next day, like literally the next day, 10th of March, I think. It was the release day of the 4 seasons, and then on 16th of March we were sent back home. So within days, and I didn't have, but by then I didn't have any plans. I mean, what to do in terms of music and everything. So I was completely blank, nothing in front of me. And then I started playing piano because my son is learning piano as well, and we leased a piano, a real instrument, at home, the upright piano.
Yeah.
And then, of course, I eagerly came up and I started playing because it's such a joy to play the real instrument, not this electronic stuff.
Right.
And then I started thinking, I could probably record a video for my Facebook, and I thought like a bunch of people could watch it with pleasure and everything. So I started recording. I recorded maybe 5 different videos in that sense of my own compositions. And then I thought, but these compositions actually they would make up a very, very good album, and they actually conveyed a bit different emotions than I was trying to convey with the previous albums.
Right.
These stories are different, and these stories are about different characters, I guess, as well, and about different times maybe, and about different environments. So I started thinking about that, and then I thought, and then actually I stumbled upon one of the courses of marketing and music on this, some dodgy stuff, I guess. And one of the advices that I read about was coming from the DJ, in fact. And he was saying, guys, I'm putting out on Spotify, when I'm releasing music, I'm always putting up 2 tracks. One is extended mix of another one, and then I'm promoting one, and then by that, people are picking up on the second track. Gotcha. So that's probably a good idea. You guys follow it, but for him it's a bit different business. It's a bit different industry as well. They need this stuff for the DJs to play for public, right?
Right.
And then I was thinking, but I could probably come out with the solo piano piece and pair it with an extended arrangement of not exactly the same solo piano piece, but based on the same motif or the same melody. And honestly, I haven't heard of anyone do that in this fashion before in piano. And I thought that would be pretty dope. And then I decided, yeah, okay, I'll try. I have to start with something. So I picked up one of the videos that I made back during the lockdown times, and I recorded it. And then I came up when I started thinking about the arrangement, because the first idea was, okay, drums and bass, and bit of house, because bit of this and bit of that. And then I thought, no, it's not really interesting. You need to develop it, in a way, like a variation of the first theme or the topic or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's how the two pieces were born. And the whole idea, and I was thinking hard, in fact, about it. I was actually tortured by thoughts and ideas, and I was torn apart by different concepts for over a month, I think. How to wrap it in a good way, wrap it into a concept, into what it is, like a solo piano piece and and the range. How do you call it even? So what it is. And then I was thinking, like, my first idea was about the colored copy and a black and white copy.
Yeah.
So basically, the solo piano is like a black and white picture, like a photograph, and another one is a colorful photograph. So I was thinking, yeah, well, that's pretty dope, and you can come up with nice covers as well, artworks.
Do you do the artwork? Who does the artwork for that? You do it? Yeah. Very good. Very good.
Ooh, that's the hardest part. I'd rather record more music.
No, it's good because it helps with, and I think that might come from your marketing background, because there's a symmetry between the colors that you use and just the way that you present it. You're really branding yourself. And I have to say one more thing too, is that the half mustache, half shaven, is like that's a great brand.
But I know. So first of all, of course, it's not my idea. It's an idea of my daughter. She wanted to do a funny video. One of those funny dads videos on TikTok. Yeah. So she said, "Can you shave this one and keep this one?" And I said, "Okay, right." And it was like 3 months ago. So I did that, and I started making pictures. And I thought, yeah, okay, but then you have a double of everything. So basically, you have solo piano and a not solo piano, and this kind of fits that concept as well.
That's correct. That's correct.
But to be really honest with you, I shaved several days ago, but for today, I kept it again.
Just for this conversation, right?
Of course, I had to. I mean, I couldn't disappoint you. I knew you would be expecting this, so.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. So yeah, I've been thinking about like how to call the album and everything, and then I came up with a Moonlight and Sunshine, which is pretty dope I think as well, because you've got like a quiet piano style, tranquil, really meditative type of music with just solo piano, nothing else, and it's happening, and a story is happening in the moonlight during the night. Yes. And then the same story may happen during the daytime under the sunshine, and then how you view the story and how the story is told can be completely different. Yeah. And this excited me, and I thought it would be a very nice concept for an album, and especially for what I was gonna do. And the first one is, and then I said, okay, I've got a bunch of pieces, but I want to keep releasing them, because I'm impatient as well. I want to put it out, and why wait?
Right.
And then I said, okay, I'll start the album with 2 pieces, and I called them Declaration of Love. And then it comes out that it's a declaration of love in the moonlight. So during the night, very romantic, and 2 people, very quiet and everything. And then during the sunshine, it's a bit different, and maybe he's proposing or she's proposing. I don't know. Maybe that leads to another ending as well of the story. I would imagine.
Now, who's singing? Are you singing on it as well? You're doing the vocals?
Oh no, sorry. So for Moonlight and Sunshine, that's a story without singing. Again, there's no singing involved at all. Like that's instrumental. But for the other one,
That
yeah,
was you?
that's me.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is something that I'm trying to avoid.
You're trying to avoid it.
Yeah.
You do good. You do good at it. I mean, if it fits.
Objectively, it
Well,
does. Objectively, could have been better. And again, I'm objectively speaking, I know, and yeah, I think the songs are pretty good on that single, which you probably saw as well. Double Date, I think it's called. But I wish I had someone or a singer or someone who would like love to perform. That's the only reason I would never go about singing it on stage, for example. I'm not fit for that, and my probably vocal cords are not. I'm 40. I am not practicing. You know, it's like and I'm not aspiring as well.
Sure.
So I like music. I like music very much. Just the music, you know, all the sounds, all the multitude of nuances and everything. I love performing, in fact, as well. And I had been performing a lot before I changed the jobs and the industries. Basically, I had been performing like every day, and that was a habitual thing, and I loved it.
Wow.
And I'm still loving it, in fact.
Yes.
Both, of course, you know, again, you know what I'm saying.
I do.
It's a habit that you cannot really get out of the system, right?
And you shouldn't want to. I mean, it's what we're wired to do, you know.
Absolutely.
Now, tell me about funky piano play. What a great, now, is that your publishing? Is that just your branding? How, you know?
It's my branding, because that's in fact I think it was for Reflections album. I was trying to come up with a way to glue the album together and to somehow call the style out, you know. And then I was playing with different names. Okay, funky is a good kind of more modern word, and everybody likes it. Right. Then piano has to be there, and then playing is too long, and then play is kind of fun as well, and it's a bit conventional, I guess, as well. So, and then it didn't go to the album, but I just decided to brand it like that. So I've got Facebook, Funky Piano Play, Instagram, and the website as well.
Exactly.
Everything is funky piano play for some reason. I don't know how funky it is.
It's here.
I know. It's somewhere inside. Yeah, there's elements of fun.
Oh man,
that's for sure.
It's funky. It's innovative. Now, how do people get in touch with you? You know, how do they contact you, and then how do they acquire your music? I know you're on Spotify, but is there a direct sales or any way that they can get to you directly to get the music? How
so
they do that?
the best way is to get to the funkypianoplay.com site, and that's where you find everything. You find my contacts, you find my music, which you can listen for free, in fact, and you can buy it if you want to support, like for all the musicians. Absolutely. So Funky Piano Play is the way, and there's the latest announcements, and I personally worked on that site as well. Please. So that would be my pleasure to meet new people on that site.
My goodness. Well, it's been my honor to have this conversation with you. I trust and pray that this one conversation will lead to several more down the road. You definitely have a brand new fan in me. I mean that wholeheartedly. I'll be listening
so much, man.
Sunday night. I'm a little behind in where you are, but you know, for the rest of the afternoon, I'll be listening to your stuff because I really am intrigued by what you're doing, and I like to listen repeatedly because I'm sure there's some things that I missed in that first run. But
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. It's my honor. But before we go, let me ask you this, Andrei. Was there a question that you thought maybe I was going to ask you and I didn't ask, and you're going, wow, how come he didn't ask me this question? Whatever that was, can you answer it right now?
God, you puzzled me. No, in fact, before the interview, I was thinking, would you evoke some of the names that I wouldn't know? because I listened to some of the interviews you did before with Patricia. I think it's the latest one.
Yes.
And you guys were chatting about some people that I have no clue about, because obviously European music and American music, especially whenever you go to the inner circles of the music business, you don't really know the names. So I was thinking, okay, you might ask me about some of the names that I don't know. So no, that didn't happen, and I'm glad it didn't happen. I'm actually happy. No, I think I said it all seriously. No, thank you so much. And the questions were very well posed, I have to say. And it's you let me speak out. That's the best thing.
Well, I tell you what, I'm so grateful that you went deep to tell us what was behind the music, because that's always curious to me. If you're listening, it's just like an author and you're reading a book, and you can convey that maybe the author meant it one way and he didn't, or she didn't, And my youngest daughter is an author, and she's releasing her second novel. And there were some things that I was interpreting from her characters. She was going, no, Dad, you missed the whole point. And then, but when she gave me the backstory to who they really are, it just brings everything alive. So, I really do appreciate you sharing, especially with Four Seasons, what the thought process was behind it. So Reflections, Four Seasons. The 14th of July, you have brand new music, but you can listen to it now on your website. So it's fantastic. Go to funkypianoplay.com, right? And
absolutely.
And get this great music, and you got to learn Andrei, his heart, his spirit, his passion for yourself. You'll hear it in all of the colors of this music. And this won't be our last conversation, my friend. We'll do it again and again.
For sure. My pleasure. Thank you so much, Jere. It was really nice chatting to you. Thank you so much.
It's my honor.
Bye-bye to everyone.
Bye-bye. Peace and blessings to you all. My name is Jere B. Andrei is an EntreMusician. Par none. Just excellent, excellent, excellent. Go to his website. Come to the EntreMusician.com. Help us grow this community. We will absolutely see you next time. Thanks for joining us. God bless.
Bye, guys.